What's happening, everybody? On today's show, the SEC media preseason poll is out. Who did the media pick to win the SEC in 2024? They typically get it wrong. Locked on SEC starts now.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is happening, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC. It's great to have you guys along on today's show. The SEC media predicted order of finish, also first, second, and third teams selected as well. And we'll also bring you some more of our interviews from SEC Media Days you didn't hear. Kentucky head coach Mark Stoops, as well as Kentucky O lineman Marques Cox and Arkansas D lineman Landon Jackson. I'm Chris Gordy. Thanks for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Shout out to everydayers. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. And today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more as the playoffs have winded down. We are into the summer and we are getting ready for the start of the college football season. Still plenty of stuff to get in on, like Major League Baseball season, and FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. Something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, let's jump into it as we have got the media preseason poll, and they have selected the Georgia Bulldogs, been predicted to win the SEC according to the SEC media who voted in the Football Media Days poll. The Georgia Bulldogs received 165 votes to be crowned SEC champion on December 7th in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Texas picked to be the Bulldogs' opponent in the Longhorns' first season in the league. Texas received 27 votes to win the SEC championship. So it's a 165 versus 27. Keep in mind, there is no East or West anymore. So they are predicting it'll be Georgia versus Texas in a rematch because Georgia goes to Austin this year to play Texas. And so despite whoever the hell wins that game, doesn't matter. They're both, the media is predicting they'll both meet again in Atlanta. Now this, like we said, will mark the first season since 1991 with no divisions. Of course, participants of the game will be determined during the 8-game regular season conference schedule. Still no word yet on what the tiebreaker system will be. Greg Sankey saying last week at Media Days they are still working on that. So, if you end up with 5 teams that are all 10-2 and not all of them play each other head-to-head, you have to try to figure out some kind of tiebreaker system on how that all works. But here's the best part of this poll that the media selected here. Only 9 times since 1992, so that's 32 years. Only 9 of those 32 years has the predicted champion prior to the season at SEC Media Days gone on to win the SEC championship game. I'm sorry, Georgia, but the odds are not in your favor. Just because the media picked you does not mean you're going to win this thing in Atlanta. Again, only 9 times in 32 years have they gotten it right. SEC championship game has been the most watched conference championship nationally for 15 of the past 16 years, including 12 in a row from 2008 to 2019. The only year it wasn't number one was 2020 when the pandemic happened and everything was all funky. The 2023 SEC championship game averaged 17.5 million viewers. That was up 61% versus the year prior and peaked with 22.3 million viewers. It was the most watched conference championship game on any network in 5 years. So as we look at the predicted order finish, like we said, it's Georgia 1, Texas 2. Behind them, Alabama predicted to finish 3rd. Ole Miss predicted 4th. And then there's a little bit of a drop-off between those top 4 in terms of the votes from the media. Then it's LSU 5. I saw some folks saying, they would have maybe went with Tennessee or Missouri ahead of LSU, but LSU 5, Missouri 6, Tennessee 7, and then Oklahoma 8. I've seen a lot of people saying, you can kind of jumble up that top 4 of Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss. And, it could probably jumble up that mix of LSU, Missouri, Tennessee. And if you want to throw Oklahoma in there, they do have a tough schedule this year. And then rounding it out, it is 9th. They've got Texas A&M, 10th Auburn, 11th Kentucky, 12th Florida. And then the bottom 4, South Carolina 13th, Arkansas 14th, Mississippi State 15th, and Vanderbilt 16th. So that's the tough part is somebody's got to finish last here. Or finish near the bottom, we assume, Vanderbilt's going to finish last, but Mississippi State, Jeff Levy going to have his work cut out for him in year one of the conference. Of course, Sam Pittman and Shane Beamer, questions about Arkansas and South Carolina. Can they turn the corner? They have tough schedules. So don't have a whole lot to disagree with there. Again, I would probably slide Missouri up one spot ahead of LSU. And then I think LSU and Tennessee are kind of that 6-7 interchangeable. But we'll see. Eli Drinkwitz has to – Brian Kelly has shown every year he can – at Notre Dame and so far at LSU, he can get to 9-10 wins. Eli Drinkwitz just did that for the first time. Can he do it again? That's a little bit of a question mark there. We know Josh Heupel has done it before at Tennessee. But looking at the preseason all-SEC first-team offense, Carson Beck at quarterback from Georgia, your two running backs are Trevor Etienne from Georgia and Jarquez Hunter from Auburn. Two wide receivers, Luther Burden from Missouri and Trey Harris from Ole Miss. Tight end was Caden Prieskorn from Ole Miss. And then your O-lineman, Tyler Booker from Bama, Will Campbell from LSU, Kelvin Banks from Texas, Tate Ratledge from Georgia, and your center, Cooper Mays from Tennessee. First preseason all-SEC first-team defense. Your D-linemen were Nazir Stackhouse from Georgia, Deion Walker, Kentucky, Walter Nolan, Ole Miss, James Pierce, Tennessee. Your linebackers, LSU Harold Perkins, Oklahoma's Danny Stutzman, Alabama's Deontay Lawson, and Georgia's Michael Williams. And your secondary, Georgia's Malachi Starks, Bama's Malachi Moore, Oklahoma's Billy Bowman, and Kentucky DB Maxwell Hairston. So no real shockers there. I thought they did a pretty good job with these lists, but I saw Jesse Simonton over at On3 said one of the big snubs was Jaden Roberts, the Alabama guard. He said he just thinks that he is one of the better ones out there and top 10 overall interior lineman. He also said a snub Florida wide receiver Trey Wilson, but the SEC does have a lot of good wide receivers. He said some Ole Miss fans probably outraged with Jackson Dart's omission from this list, but it is a loaded slate of quarterbacks in the SEC this fall. And then he said Walter Nolan as a first-team guy is okay, but over Nick Scorton from A&M and Landon Jackson from Arkansas, you're just going with name recognition over previous production and putting Walter Nolan up there. But he did bring up one other thing. He said, why are we in 2024 listing as many running backs as receivers? Because when you do this poll, they say list your top 4 running backs from the SEC, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they do the same thing at wide receiver. And it's like we're putting 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers. There's a lot more. In other words, there should be more wide receivers on here. Most people these days in the SEC are starting 3 or 4 wide receivers. You're only starting 1 running back. Only putting 1 quarterback on this list. So anyway, thought he made a good point there. He did say Oklahoma wide receiver Nick Anderson didn't make the cut on these lists, but he could be on the postseason team come December. So pretty interesting stuff there. One other tidbit I saw, they were having a big conference over there in the state of Texas with all the big Texas head coaches. And Steve Sarkisian, speaking yesterday evening, he said, looking at the preseason AP poll, the all SEC team, he said he shows his team both of those things, as well as 5 articles about how great Texas is supposed to be. He said he then shows his team 7, 8 articles saying Texas will not, do well in the SEC. He said, quote, people's opinions of us before we ever play a game really don't matter. So thought that was interesting from Sark. All right, let's get into some of our conversations with from SEC Media Days we weren't able to bring you last week. We didn't do a SEC Day 4 recap. So without further ado, we did catch up with Kentucky head coach Mark Stoops. Just a couple of minutes with him. We call it a walk and talk, but here was a couple of minutes with Kentucky head coach Mark Stoops.
Here we go, rapid fire. We're on the clock with Coach Stoops. He's in high demand. Coach, real quick, 2024 Kentucky Wildcats. What excites you most about this team?
I think we have a good group. We have a good mixture. We got some good experience, some guys that have been around for a while. 10 guys on defense that played in a lot of football. We have some young talent that we're going to need to sprinkle in there. And offensively, I think we're going to get back to being a more physical team up front. We have to be. We were for a long time and kind of fell off a little bit. I hope we're going to make a big improvement up front. And then our playmakers, we have some wide receivers that have grown up, played a lot of football for us that are going into their third year. And then we have the addition of Jamori Macklin to go with Barry On Brown and Dane Key, and I feel like we have a good group there.
I also heard some of the freshmen are already making an impact. Hardly Gilmore, running back, you've had a kid. I mean, a couple freshmen can make immediate impact.
Yeah, Jason Patterson, you're talking about a running back that he's been very impressive in the spring, and I like what he's doing. And then, Hardley is a playmaker. Everybody likes him. I mean, he's looked really good in the spring. He's been on campus for a while, and he's got a great attitude. He's very competitive, and so hopefully he's going to be a guy that could jump up and make some plays for us this year.
We talked to Marques Cox. He said he actually put on a little bit more weight this offseason. That's a big fella, and I know what you love is we look up and down this team in the trenches, particularly senior, a lot of leadership.
That's the big thing. Eli Cox back at the center, Marcus being there, have great experience. We needed that. He's a big boy and holds down that left side for us. And so we need him to play, at an NFL level here this year.
Last thing for you, Coach. My wife went to Kentucky. She absolutely loves Lexington. When you're not doing all the football stuff, what are you doing in Lexington?
Usually hanging out, playing a little golf or something like that. We got some nice golf courses, but it's either that or just spending time with my family. We don't have much time these days.
Yeah, no time to head over to Keeneland these days. Coach, I know you're busy. Thanks so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks again to head coach Mark Stoops. Thank you guys for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Coming up next, our conversation with Marques Cox. Speaking of Kentucky, offensive lineman, going to join us next right here on Locked On SEC. But first, I want to remind you guys, this episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Look, as we get throughout these summer months, summer's already halfway over, but as we get through it, there was something going on for you daily over there at FanDuel. So FanDuel, all throughout this summer, is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long over at FanDuel. And some of the best stuff we've been talking about is some of those week one lines in the SEC. And Florida's still sitting as a home underdog against Miami. If you want to get on that action, they got that for you over at FanDuel. Or if you want to get on some of the favorites, you think Oklahoma can cover the big number against Temple or Texas can cover their big number against Colorado State. All of it is up there over at FanDuel. So head on over to FanDuel.com right now. Make the most out of your summer. And keep in mind, we're out of the MLB All-Star break. Major League Baseball's back in action, and FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Check them out, FanDuel.com. Make the most of your summer and get ready for the start of another college football season. All right, thank you guys for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Shout out to everydayers. Keep coming back and checking us out each and every day. And hey, for your second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today. If you're tired of all the screaming, talking heads on Fox Sports and ESPN, check out our free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you each and every day with all the biggest stories without all the yelling. Locked On Sports Today, bringing you all the can't-miss analysis on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. All right, without further ado, we talked about it. The Kentucky Wildcats had their day at the podium SEC Media Days last Thursday, and we got to sit down with a big Marques Cox, offensive lineman from the Kentucky Wildcats, coming back for one more season with them. Here was some of that conversation. Rolling along here from SEC Media Days, and I'm catching up with some Kentucky Wildcats, sitting down, a guy who became a Kentucky Wildcat just a year ago and coming back for another season on that offensive line. He is big Marques Cox. What's going on, man? How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
What was it like your first season in Lexington? You had Northern Illinois, right? And then transferred over. What was it like?
Definitely different coming from the MAC. You're not used to a lot of fans, and weekday games are definitely different. But being able to play on Saturdays with Kentucky has definitely been an eye-opener for me from the fans' perspective and from the playing perspective as well.
A little bit more physical, a little more beef on the D-line.
A little bit more physical, a little bit more length, a little bit more size. So it's all good. It's all good.
Did you yourself have a welcome to the SEC moment? Maybe a move or somebody got the best of you? Oh, okay.
Not really. Obviously, just football at the end of the day. I played against some SEC teams at NIU, so I knew what to expect coming into the league.
You guys have a lot of new on this offense this year. Obviously, Brock Vandergriff comes over, the quarterback. Some freshmen that are ready to step up. Gerald Mincy comes over on the offensive line as well. But what did you see from this unit in the spring?
We got a chance to be really special. We got a lot of talent on the perimeter with Barryon, Dane, Fred, J-Mac, and then we bring experience back on the offensive line with me and Eli.
Eli's been there like 20 years. He's been there forever. He's the old man.
Yeah, he's an old man. I'm an old man. He's been the longest there. I've just been longer in college.
Right.
But
how old are you now?
24. I'll be 25 in December.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
Like the freshmen asking you to buy them alcohol and stuff. I mean, that's a you know. I'm just saying.
Disclosed.
Yeah. I'm just saying. It's funny though when you're the older guy, right? I mean, it's always fun. Running back, man, Ray Davis was so good for you guys last year. He's moved on. Give me a name or two to watch down the backfield. I know you got some guys back there.
Yeah, we got Chip, we got Demi, Patterson, I think his last name is. But yeah, Chip and Demi has been improving. Demi obviously came last year from NC State, so he's improved. And then Chip comes in January, and we building a relationship. We actually do Pilates together. We go to Pilates, so he's getting more nimble and flexible for the season.
Nice. Yeah, Jason Patterson, I think, is who you were trying to think of.
Yeah.
Defensively, a lot of veteran guys as well. Derek's back. Another guy who feels like he's been there, J.J. Weaver, been there forever.
Yeah.
What'd you see from this defense so far?
Defense come back with a lot of experience, come back really physical. We got a lot of talent on the defense. I got high hopes for our defense, and I can't wait to see them play and shut down some teams.
What about Brock? Take me a little bit in, because he's a little country, right?
Yeah, he's a country boy, man. But he's super cool. He loves to hunt. He loves to do everything, like every country activity you could think of.
Hunting, fishing, all that stuff.
Hunting, fishing. He loves it all. He don't cuss.
Yeah.
So it's different. Definitely different from Devin, but I truly like him. He can run. He can run a little bit, and
he's got the cell phone on his belt.
Huh? Yeah. Cell phone on his belt, big
crazy.
belt buckle. It's great. I love Brock though.
He's like somebody's dad.
Yeah. Perfectly fine. He's good at football, so that's all that matters.
But you guys have had a nice run. I know there was Will Levis, and then Devin Leary came over last year, and now a chance for Brock to really grab the offense by the horns and be that guy. But it's crazy because we're not too far removed. There was years where Kentucky had to put Lynn Bowden had to play quarterback.
Right.
I mean, it was injuries and all that, but a real chance here for Brock to do something special and kind of elevate this thing.
Definitely. I believe in Brock, and I can't wait to see what he does this season.
Talk a little bit about the Coach Stoops, because I know everybody that talks about him just lights up. And man, when you play a Mark Stoops team, you're going to be hard-nosed, offensive, defensive line, tough in the trenches. What do you like about playing for Coach Stoops?
He got a lot of faith in us in the offensive line. He set us to a high standard. He challenged us every week, and that's all you want from your coach. You want to be challenged. You want the opportunity to show the world what you could do. And I ride with Coach Stoops, so he's a great coach to play for. I'm blessed to be playing for him for another year.
What was the message coming out of last season?
We're right there. We got to get over the little hump of making little mistakes. Really focusing this year, coming together through the adverse moments, and playing together. Once we play together, we'll be a stronger team this season.
Do you guys talk about the changes in college football and all this? I mean, we're a 12-team playoff now.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be. I mean, the goal is still to win the SEC. You want to get to Atlanta and win it, but there's also the other side. You don't have to get. I mean, 10-2 in the SEC probably gets you into the playoff. Do you guys talk about that?
No, we try to really focus on week by week. Every week is a new season in the SEC. Every team is really talented and got really talented players. So every week is a new season to show the opportunity that we can play.
But an opportunity too. I mean, Kentucky, it's always been about basketball, but now football. I mean, basketball, the mantra is just want to punch your ticket, you just want to get into the postseason, and now a chance that you guys could really do that and make some noise. But also, again, still want to get to Atlanta, but there's no East or West now. Things kind of just wide open. Two best teams go play for a title.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what it is. It's the world. It's what it is now. It's the new thing that everybody got to adjust to, and this is our first year in it. So we're going to see how it grows, and we're going to be blessed with the opportunity that come ahead.
All right. When Marques Cox is not playing football, what are you doing?
Huh?
When you're not playing football, what are you doing?
Playing the game. I've been
video game.
Yeah, I got a Nintendo Switch last year.
Okay.
I've been playing that hard. Everybody on the NCAA right now, I kind of don't want to get in the server. There's a lot of sweats in there. So I get on like Mario Party, Smash Bros.
Okay.
I've been playing Overcooked lately. It's like a little chef game.
Okay.
So like playing that with a couple friends that come visit, or a couple of my teammates that come visit.
Is the Switch the mobile, the one you? So you
I actually got it in my bag. I brought it with me.
Oh,
here.
nice.
Yeah.
So like we all are on the road trip. You're on the bus. You can bust it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. I like that.
You just post it up. But
Have you seen the NCAA football game? Like,
yeah.
Have you seen your rating?
Yeah.
Did they do okay?
Oh, they did an amazing job.
Okay.
86. I thought I was going to be. I'm blessed.
Damn,
I'm good.
okay.
I'm good.
It's funny. Most of the guys we've talked to this week have said they're happy with their rating.
I was like, if I'm above a 70, I'm perfectly fine.
70? Wow.
Yeah, like, because, I've been doing this for a long time. Don't know who's rating, what year they rating off of. So just, if I'm above a 70, I'm good. And
I love it.
I was blessed to get 86.
What do you do around Lexington in your downtime?
Just hang out with teammates, chill. I'm not really a go-outer. I'm a homebody.
Okay.
Like being in the house.
No hunting, fishing, nothing like that?
I do fish every now and then. I don't got no poles out here. I got no fishing poles, but I know Ox go fishing a lot, Octavius Oxendine. So I'll go fishing with him sometime in the future.
Have you been over to Keeneland at all?
Yeah, definitely been to Keeneland. Not my cup of tea. It was too hot that day. It was so hot that day. I didn't have no fan. I didn't have no towel either. So yeah, it's definitely a different experience seeing the horse races. I'm still learning every day about horses and what value it is and how much a horse run for, and it's pretty ridiculous.
I think Levis had an NIL deal with a horse or something, right? Like a horse farm. We gotta get you a horse.
Yeah, I wasn't here when he had that NIL
I know, but
deal.
He's gone now. We gotta get you one. Let's get you a horse.
That's gonna be a big horse. It's gonna be one.
No, you don't have to ride it. You'll just own it.
But nah. If I have a horse,
you want to ride it?
No, I want to see what it's about.
That poor horse.
Huh?
That poor horse. You're
bigger
than
me. Bigger than me, so I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be just fine.
I guess so. What's your weight right now?
320.
Oh.
Yeah, I gained a little bit from last
that poor horse. No, but you got to be big and physical in this league.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. Man, love it.
All right, last thing. Give me a favorite moment from last season, whether it was a moment for you individually, a game y'all played, just whatever.
I just think the whole season last year was just a surreal experience for me. So it's so hard to pick out favorite moments from last year because it's all really memories of my first time being in the SEC as a SEC player. So it's hard.
Beating Louisville was good though.
Hey,
you learned about that rivalry.
I learned about that
Yeah.
a couple weeks prior to them coming up. It's still I understand now how it is, but it was definitely a surreal experience this last year, just with everything. So I just took every game, every practice, every moment last year, and this year I just take it with a grain of salt, be appreciative of my time left in college.
Well, what's the vibe with Mark Pope?
Huh?
Everybody likes the basketball coach?
Yeah, I haven't met him yet. I haven't seen him yet, but I think the fans really like him. The fans really gravitate towards him. So it should be a great season for Kentucky basketball.
No more early NCAA tournament exits. We got to make some runs. This is Kentucky, right?
Yeah, we're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. I got total faith in them. They're going to do what they do, and we're going to do what we do, and that's win games. So.
I love it. That's what they're going to do there at Kentucky. He is Marques Cox of the Kentucky Wildcats. Thanks for the time, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, thanks again to Marques Cox from Kentucky. Still more to come here on Locked On SEC, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your teams every day. We will head over to Fayetteville, talk to Arkansas defensive lineman Landon Jackson. You don't want to miss that. Coming your way next. All right, roll along here, Locked On SEC. Thank you guys for making us your first listen every day right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. The Arkansas Razorbacks, they were at SEC Media Days the last day, day 4 on Thursday, and we were able to sit down with one of their big D linemen, Landon Jackson, making his second consecutive visit. He was at Media Days last summer, and he did it again this year. Let's talk with Arkansas D lineman Landon Jackson. Always fun to catch up with the Arkansas Razorbacks in town here at SEC Media Days and catching up with Landon Jackson. What's going on, man?
Oh, nothing much, just hanging out, running around.
You do this. You did this last year. You went through the car wash, as they'll call it, but you kind of knew what to expect this go around, right?
Oh yeah. Nah, I think I was a lot more prepared this year. You know, I knew what I was getting myself into. Had to get the voice ready to talk so much. You know, so I've really enjoyed it though.
And you kind of have to come up, like you end up using your stock answers for stuff because you get asked the same questions like over and over again, right?
Definitely.
What excites you about this team and that kind of stuff? What excites you about this team?
Man, overall, really just, I mean, we got an old group this year. We got a lot of seniors, a lot of leadership, and I feel like as a team we're real mature, and I feel like that's going to take us a long way. And I mean, we work really hard. I mean, I'm really ready to see how this year goes.
We had Talon, your quarterback Talon Green, on our show a couple weeks ago, and I just like him a lot. I mean, he talked about what he likes so much about Bobby Petrino. He said that he watched some film on, Lamar Jackson. You know, obviously, not saying he's going to be Lamar Jackson, but there's some elements of his game. What have you seen from Talon since he's come on campus?
Yeah, no, I've actually made that comparison earlier today without even knowing about that.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I mean, he could fly. He could run real fast. He has a great arm. So, I mean, he fits into Coach Petrino's offense great. So, I mean, I think it's gonna work out real well. He has a good receiving core. So, I mean, he has all the qualities he needs to be successful.
I love Jaquindon Jackson, too. I love what we saw from him in the spring. You know, it's no offense to the quarterback and the running back that left, but I'm excited with the quarterback and running back that are now at Arkansas because I think that 1-2 punch is going to be pretty lethal.
No, definitely. And, I mean, not even just Jaquindon. I mean, Rashad Dominions, another one that can fly. Braylon Russell, we got him. He's a freshman, and the dude, I don't know if you watch the spring game, that dude can run the football. Yep. So I think we'll use all of them. And, I mean, our running game is going to be really good. And, I mean, I feel like it will almost open up our passing game this year.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see. And, of course, having Coach Petrino back, I know Hog fans are super excited to see what the offense can do. Let's talk about the defense. What's you guys have a bunch of guys back, some new faces in the room, but what did you see from the defense in the spring?
Yeah, we got a lot of transfers that I think are really going to help our team. Like I said before, all the guys on our defense that aren't transfers that are here are seniors, and I mean, great people, great leaders. You know, everybody has their own way of leading. I feel like Cam, Jaden Johnson are really more vocal leaders. And you got guys like Hudson Clark, Eric Gregory, who are more of lead by example. Like they'll pull somebody to the side and be like, "Hey, you could clean this up, this and that," but they're not the type to be really out there vocal. But I think Cam, and Jaden Johnson do kind of the vocal aspect, and then the transfers that came in, there's a lot of them, and I feel like just about every one of them are going to really help our team. Danico Slaughter is going to help. Switcher's going to help. Anton, defensive ends, great player, phenomenal. I think he'll be great for us. Larry came in. I feel like he'll do really good at the linebacker position. And then Steven Dix is another linebacker that we got that I feel like is a really good player as well.
Do you have a favorite sack from your time in Fayetteville yet?
My favorite sack, I'd say against BYU at Arkansas.
Okay, that's a good one. So you've got a lot of sacks in your career.
Decent. I'm hoping this season how many I've had up to this point, I could do that all in one season, if not more.
Ooh.
So.
Ooh, that's high hopes.
Yeah.
But if anyone can do it, you can do it. You've been one of the best defensive players in the SEC these last couple of years.
Yes, sir.
When we talk about expectations, look, there's the outside noise, and look, with social media, Twitter, and all, it's hard to just ignore everything completely. But how do you guys come into a season of expectations? I mean, it's the old cliche, but you literally have to take it week by week, and the schedule's tough, but at least it's a little bit alleviated from what it's been in recent years.
Yeah.
You guys have had like the toughest schedule of anybody in recent years.
Oh yeah. No, really just got. You really just gotta. I mean, put down the phones and not look at the negative stuff like that. You know, really just know the type of players we are, and type of coaches we have. They'll put us in positions to make plays, and then just go out there and make it happen, you know? And, I mean, the more you look at the negative stuff is the more you believe it, and the more you believe it, that means it's going to end up happening.
Right.
So you just can't look at it, and, I mean, all it could do is bring negatives. So my thing is whenever I'm in football season, I try my hardest just to stay off social media in general. I'll talk with my family. I'll communicate through text messaging, stuff like that. But Twitter, Instagram, all the places where you'll see negative comments, stuff like that, I'll just stay away from because all it could do is, I mean, bring negative into your life. And I mean, I think overall as a team, that's something Coach Pittman's always said since the beginning. After a loss, I mean, no reason to look at the phone. You know somebody's going to say something bad. No reason to piss yourself off. So might as well just, I mean, no matter what, just keep all that, the bad energy, the bad noise. Don't even care about it. Don't even worry about it. And just focus on us, and I mean that'll all take care of itself.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, at least they care, right? I mean, if somebody is passionate enough, that means they care, and that's, they're angry. But what do you like most about Coach Pittman? You played with him now here for a couple of years.
He's real. He's a real guy. He's gonna keep it 100 with you. I mean, let you know what you need to get better at, this and that. And I feel like he's a genuine person as well. You know, I feel like he's a really caring person. He'll go up to everybody, ask how they're doing, loves communicating with people. I mean, just overall, just a great guy. I love playing for him. I mean, if I didn't, I wouldn't have came back another year. So I'm really excited for this next season.
I think everybody's excited to see what you do coming back for another year in Arkansas.
Yes,
okay, when Landon Jackson's not playing football, what are you doing?
When I'm not playing football, I'm either traveling with my wife somewhere or golfing.
What's the last trip you made with your wife?
We went to Vegas 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you win?
No.
Yeah. See, last time I went, I lost my ass, so I got to stay away from there for a little bit.
No blackjack table for me.
It is funny though to talk to some of the guys because we got some guys in the SEC. I was like incoming freshmen. They're like 18, 19. Then we got guys like you who are married and can gamble and all that. So it's always a funny thing in that way. Are you a video game guy at all?
I am now. Since the new game came out, that's about it, though.
Have you played it?
I have. I went and bought a PS5 for it.
Okay. How did they do on your rating?
I'm 91 overall, so
that's pretty strong.
Pretty good rating. They screwed me on my speed, though, so they made my speed a 76. Ooh. So, but oh well.
I mean, but did they make up for like swim moves and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think I made my elusiveness 98 or something.
Okay,
so.
that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
It's funny. Most of the guys we've talked to have said they like their ratings.
Yeah.
That's good. EA Sports, you did well.
Yeah, I'm content with mine.
It's crazy, though. You got guys like me, like when we were in college, we were playing it. And now here it is like 12 years later. Now we're like middle-aged guys telling our wives we got to buy a video game system now. So it's a little strange for us.
Yeah, but no, whenever 2014 was out, I want to say I was like.
You were a child.
Yeah, I mean, I was 11. Yeah, so.
Texarkana, that's where you grew up?
Yep.
And you went to LSU, and then
Arkansas.
And then Arkansas, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you got your cowboy hat. You never wore a cowboy hat in Texas?
I've never been big on hats in general, like any kind of hats. So just don't like nothing touching my head.
Yeah, well, you got the great look, man. It's unique. When people see you, they go, "That's Landon Jackson."
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about a little bit on Fayetteville real quick. When you're out and about, what's there to do in Fayetteville? I've never been.
We got a great lake.
Okay.
About 20 miles north.
Fishing?
Nah, more of a. I mean, yeah, you can fish out there, but I go out there a lot of times and I like wake surf, stuff like that. Got a good lake. There's a lot of. Top golf. There's a lot of different attractions that are in a lot of other cities. Stuff like that. Bowling alleys. They got a downtown area. I don't really go down there a whole lot.
Gotcha.
Not a whole lot, but trouble whenever you start going out and everything. So I try to.
How old are you now?
21.
Okay.
But I try to, if I do anything, it'll be me, my wife, and a buddy, his girl, a few friends, go to dinner, hang out somewhere, stuff like that. But try to stay away from the bars and everything. It's nothing but trouble out there.
No, you're too old for that. You got a wife. It is interesting. Do you like the games in Little Rock?
I don't.
Yeah.
Personally, no.
It's people are very mixed up.
I think it's good for South Arkansas. You're able to watch us but not have to drive all the way across the state. So I think it's good for that. But as a player, I prefer play in my home stadium.
Yeah, and then you got the A&M game in Dallas. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like we need as many games in Fayetteville as possible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's make that happen. He is Landon Jackson. Landon, always good to chat, man. Thanks so much
You
for
as
taking
well.
some time, dude.
Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
All right, our thanks again to Landon Jackson as well as Marques Cox over at Kentucky and head coach Mark Stoops over at Kentucky. Thank you guys for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Shout out to everydayers. Keep coming back and checking us out each and every day. And hey, for your second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today, streaming for you 24/7, covering top sports stories of the day with all our local experts on the Amazon Fire TV, in the free Fire TV channels app, or on YouTube. It's Locked On Sports Today. I'm Chris Gordy. This has been Locked On SEC. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you guys throughout this week.